that's what we were taught back in our own families, that boys were not supposed to cry, boys were not supposed to display pain in front of other boys or other people in the society. Hi everyone, and welcome to Can You See Me? And on this week's episode, I want to dedicate this to every African man out there. And I want to start by taking you on a journey. I remember as a little boy growing up in the city of Nairobi. I remember we used to play, we used to come together as kids of the estate. And I remember boys used to play alone, and the girls used to also play on their own. And as boys, we used to play all those rough games. I remember we used to play football, we used to play rugby, we used to play all these rough games that boys typically were expected to play. And the girls on the other side used to skip rope and play their little gully games. And I remember even as we were playing, if one of the boys had an injury, for example, he was expected not to cry. He was expected not to feel the pain. And even if he felt the pain, he was not expected to be able to show other boys that he was in pain. And that used to be what we used to do as boys, because that's what we were taught back in our own families, that boys were not supposed to cry, boys were not supposed to display pain in front of other boys or other people in the society. And that is how we as boys grew up. And even as we became men, that is the kind of conditioning that we still have to this day. And so men are not expected to show vulnerability. Men are not supposed to show the kind of pain that they are going through. Men are not expected to be able to share their struggles even with other men. And with this kind of conditioning, we have seen in our society today that the African man is going through a lot of challenges. I can see a lot of mental health issues with our young men out there. Because at the end of the day, the African man is not expected to talk about his issues. And even as I was doing some research, I saw that according to the WHO, the statistics are very clear that up to 3 to 4 times of the African men commit suicide more than the women. So in essence, 2 to 3 times of men commit suicide in our African continent, in our African context. And so I used to ask myself a very simple question. Why is it that the African man is the one who is predisposed to committing suicide in this day and age? And even as I have shared my story of how I grew up as a man, I know that most of us as men, that is what we have grown up with. We have been taught in our own families, we have been taught in our own cultures, we have been taught in our own families that the man is supposed to be strong, that the man is supposed to go through issues and without having to explain to any other person whatever it is that they are going through. That a man is not expected to display some of the things, some of the weaknesses that he has, some of the experiences that he's going through in his own personal life. And so even as we continue to grow up as men, we are expected not to be able to exhibit some of these things. And as a result, I see a lot of young men, and more specifically young African men out there, because they are going through some difficulties in life, and the societies and the families where they come from, they are not expected to share some of these experiences with their own family members or even with other men out there. then you find that because of these experiences that they go through, these men always tend to look for a place. They want to look for an escape so that they can be able to vent out some of these experiences that they are going through. And that's why today we see a lot of young men who are into alcoholism. There are a lot of them that are into so many addictions out there. There are so many of the young men out there that are into sexual addictions, because at the end of the day, we see a young African man who's desiring to speak out what is inside. But because the environment does not allow that to happen, so they tend to look for a way to escape. And so that's why we have so many of these addictions. And of course, the society also does not appreciate that this young man expects to be in a place, in a safe space, in an environment where he can be able to discuss with other young men or to just vent out some of the experiences that he is going through. And because of that, they get into addictions. And the society also at the same time does not celebrate those people who are into addictions. So you find that we see a generation of young men who are out here. They do not know how to handle pressure. They do not know how to handle some challenging experiences of life. They do not know how to be able to process some of these emotions, because even where they come from back at home, they are not taught that it is important for you as a man to have a safe space where you can be able to speak out the things that you're going through. And so on this episode, I know I am speaking to a young African man out there. You do not have a good place. You do not have an environment where you can be able to speak out your issues, because the society does not expect you to do the same. But I'm here to challenge you that today, as men, we need to redefine what it is. We need to redefine what it is to be a man. And to be a man does not necessarily mean that you have to be strong all the time. It is okay for you to come to a place where you're vulnerable enough and you're able to share your experiences in a place where you don't feel judged. It's important for you to look for an environment and a space where you can be able to share your experiences even as you continue to do life, because there are challenging experiences in the modern world. But it's important for us as men today to be able to change the narrative that we have in our minds. We need to change some of the things that we have been taught even when we were young, that a man is supposed to be always strong. It's okay when things are not working out. It's okay when you feel like you're helpless. It's okay when you don't have everything figured out. And so that's why I have created this platform, because I want us to have conversations. This is a safe space where we can have experiences, where we can share our stories, our unique struggles, so that we can be able to navigate the complexities of this world and in this life. And if I am talking to somebody and you are in that place where you feel like the weight of the world is on you and you do not know, what to do, you do not know who to look up to, this is a space for you. You can share with us on the comment section some of the experiences that you're going through, some of the things and the challenges that you're facing as a young African man in this modern world. Because the bottom line is that you, as a young African man, you are expected to be the leader, you are expected to be the visionary, you are expected to be strong. But what happens when you do not have life figured out? What happens when you feel weak and helpless? So that's why we are here, so that we can have these conversations. So thank you so much for being a part of this episode. And if this episode has been of value to you, do not hesitate to share with another young African man out there who is facing challenges in this day and age. Kindly share with them and also encourage them to be part of this community so that we can be able to grow together even as we share our experiences. So thank you so much. I have been your host, Nganga Gachie, and until we meet again, it is okay for you as a young African man to be able to be vulnerable and share your experiences.